What is the most unprofessional thing an employee has done that resulted in immediate termination? I was a kitchen supervisor in a nursing home, and we had a dishwasher on his third day pull the fire alarm on purpose to get out of his shift. I was part of the investigation since I was the supervisor on duty. He gave HR a wild story that he and another coworker were roughhousing, and he was pushed into the alarm. As he fell, his shirt got caught on the lever and pulled it. HR then showed him the camera footage of him looking to make sure nobody was watching, then pulling the alarm on purpose. After he was fired, we found out from another coworker that he was also suspended from his high school a couple of months ago for pulling the alarm at school. Worked at an automotive OEM, and there were only 2 types of summary terminations I saw. One was for leaking photos of pre-production items and stealing. My favorite was a guy who stole a set of prototype tires, shock rims, and then just put them on his truck in the parking lot. The manager, who had been looking for the missing items, happened by the truck while walking into work, realized those were the tires he was missing, fired the dude on the spot, but also took the tires back while he was being fired. So when the guy walked out jobless, his truck was on supports with no tires. This one I love. Not sure if it was sheer audacity or idiocy that he did that, but that is righteous karma in return. How and when did he manage to get his truck out of there? He had to have someone bring tires to him from home. We have tires at home. Many years ago, I had an OB/GYN appointment. A test had come back abnormal, and things had to be discussed. I was young and scared. All I heard was cancer and infertility. I just started crying. My doctor was wonderful and explained everything. I was reassured, but still scared. The doctor and her nurse left the room, and I got dressed. As I left the examination room, walking by the nurse's area, I saw and heard her nurse mocking me. "Wah! Can I still have kids? Wah!" Not only was I hurt, but also I was pissed. As I was rushing to leave, I passed the doctor's office. She was sitting at her desk, doing paperwork. I knocked on her door jamb with tears in my eyes. I thanked her for being wonderful, but told her I wouldn't be treated that way by her nurse. She then asked me what I meant. When I told her, she took me by the hand, and together we walked back to the nurse's desk. She directly asked her if what I said was true. The nurse fumbled over her words, basically said yes, but she didn't mean anything by it. The doctor said, "Get your things and get out of my office." "You're fired." I never saw that nurse again, but I respected my OB/GYN even more. Looking at illegal materials involving minors on a work computer, at the methadone clinic where he worked as a social worker, got a police escort and everything, even made the back page perp papers. I used to be on methadone. I had a pervert counselor that started talking about inappropriate stuff with me. He tried to come to my graduation from school and sent me a friend request on Facebook. He was fired. Good. Kicked a service dog thinking I wasn't watching. I already knew this particular employee didn't like dogs, which is fine as a personal preference. But this one was just quietly standing off to the side of the hallway, and it was clear she went out of her way to kick it. I fired her on the spot. We were in New Orleans, and he attacked a sitting homeless person on a street corner. He was very alpha until an hour later, when he was offered to find another employer. Was this in the quarter? Besides the morality of it, that's a very stupid thing to do. Some of them just don't give a fuck, and he's lucky that person didn't pull a knife or something. We had an employee who got accused of sexual harassment. We had a meeting with him to get his side of the story and told him not to speak to anyone about it, especially anyone he thought might have turned him in while we finished up the investigation. Just go back to your office and do your work. We didn't tell him who accused him, of course, so we are taking 10 minutes to decide to fire him and check with HR that we have checked all the boxes. Meanwhile, his response was to walk into his accuser's office, shut her door, lean against the door so she couldn't leave, and start screaming at her. He got fired immediately. I'll forever be amazed that people with such a lack of intelligence, common sense, and emotional control manage to get regular office jobs. They used to be easier to spot when everyone stayed in one job for a decade. If you saw someone with 10 jobs in 5 years, yeah, that's probably someone with an anger issue or a creep, etc. Now everyone hops jobs all the time, so we don't really have that barometer, which is too bad because most people can fake it through an interview and seem normal. My wife's company has a booth at CES in Vegas every year. I went with her one year. We are going up to our room from the casino, and there is one of the guys she works with, sprawled out drunk halfway in the elevator. A couple of his buddies are trying to get him up. I heard him say, "Oh shit, don't tell Phil!" The owner of the company, Phil, was standing right next to me. Well, I guess no one had to tell Phil then. Don't tell Philly. Philly doesn't know. Philly doesn't know. Philly doesn't know. We owe. After a brief discussion about tattoos and locations, she dropped her pants in the office reception area to show everyone the ink she had on her ass cheeks. No underwear, just full frontal glory. Before I could recover from my shock and tell her to pull her pants back up, a customer walked in and then immediately walked out. There were other issues, but that was the straw that broke the camel's back. She was there for less than a week. That unlocked a weird memory. When I was a teen, I worked a mall job for a bit at a store that was just opening, so for weeks the job was just unpacking clothes and setting up racks. We all kinda got used to not seeing the public and being able to chat about whatever. A couple weeks after we opened, it was a bit slow, and we all ended up hanging at the Center Island checkout, talking about tattoos and piercings. The shift manager told us she had her nipples pierced, and someone asked to see. I assumed they'd pop to a changing room or something, but nope, full tits out in the middle of the store, still chatting about the process, cost, how much it hurt, etc. I was so weirded out, and no one else was fazed. She was still there long after I quit, so I'm assuming no one snitched, even if a customer did see. Left a series of drunk, very explicit voicemails on my phone, comparing me to the girl in the spicy movie he was watching and describing in detail the actions he was taking on his person. HR had to transcribe them all for the documentation. It was vile. Damn, I'd have spared everyone the embarrassment of that HR meeting and resigned in disgrace. Well, it's probably safe to say that this guy didn't have a sense of shame. Saw a dude balls deep in a tube of grease one time. You win the thread, or lose, I'm not sure actually. You can keep the grease. A new hire told the manager, either the longtime employee gets fired, or he's gone. He's gone. Guy I worked with when I sold suits in a department store. He was a problem for a while. Liked to take way longer than he was supposed to on his breaks, acted like a jerk to coworkers, go to the bathroom and be gone for 45 minutes at a time, and so on. But management let it slide because he was a top seller and signed up a lot of people for the store card. Till one day he mouthed off to the wrong manager. He was gone on one of his 45-minute bathroom trips when she came by making her rounds. I had told her that he had disappeared again and happened to be still fixing a rack nearby when he came back. She made a comment about how he can't keep disappearing like that, and he thought it was appropriate to ask her, "You want to come to the bathroom with me and hold it so you know where I am?" He was gone the next day. A security sergeant called from home. I left a CD in the sergeant's office computer. Take it out and put it in my desk, but don't look at it. It contained a lot of kiddie porn. Not only fired, but usage on a federally controlled institution was a felony-level offense. Never saw him again. I worked in a Kmart store years ago that was being renovated. Our store manager was caught putting some boxes of floor tiles and buckets of paint in his car to use at his own house. We had a new manager the next morning. Who TF wants Kmart floor tiles in their house? Cheap misers who don't want to pay for new floors. Don't forget to share your own stories about terrible employees in the comments. Check out our other videos, and we'll see you next time.